Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. I'm making this video for one simple reason. I'm making this video to clarify what has happened on the monthly chart and why the monthly chart is so important right now, guys. It is very important. We have seen a major development on the monthly chart. I've been discussing it for a pretty long period of time now, and you're probably familiar with it already, but I want to reiterate what's actually happened here. I want to go over some other macro charts and show you just how strong Bitcoin is looking from a macro perspective, okay? What we are seeing on Bitcoin on a cyclical basis is obviously the 4-year cycle, but diving deeper into that, what is happening within the 4-year cycle? What is the structure that is forming? There is a structure that's formed now 3 times for, the bear market, the bull market 2014, 2018, 2022, and also the bear markets that has been reoccurring. So what is the structure? Well, the structure is essentially this, right? We have a horizontal line that we bounce off during the bull market. Once we lose it, we go down very, very far. We enter a deep bear market, right? That is the red line I have on the screen on 3 occasions. We've seen that 3 separate times, right? So bull market, I call it the bull market support line that we hold. And once we lose it, we drop down really, really fast. Again, that happened over here in 2014. We dropped down really, really fast. 2018 as well, and also in 2022. Within a few months of losing that line, we end up at the bottom. And the bottom is usually formed on a separate horizontal level. The horizontal level in 2015 was this level over here, which is around 200. The horizontal level in 2018 was around 3,400, and the horizontal level in 2022 was around 17,000. Now, we have seen wicks below that horizontal level, and hence the low is actually a bit lower. For example, 2018, we saw a wick below, 2015, 2014, wick below, and also a wick below here in 2022, which is why we bottomed out at 15K, not 17K. So we do wick below it, but generally speaking, that's the overall support line that is there. And if we're flicking on Bitcoin in the daily chart here, we can see that the actual horizontal support line that I drew in is around here at 17K-ish, and you can see that that was clearly the support range. We just dropped down here briefly and came back upwards quite strongly. So going back to the monthly chart, we have, a trend in which we have 2 support lines per cycle. We have the bull market support line, and then we have the bear market support line. Bull market support line, we bounce around, we hold it for support. It's kind of the foundation of the bull market, the place in which we bounce off. We see big moves to the upside after bounces, right? Bounce off, big moves to the upside. It's kind of the trampoline for the bull market. Once we lose it, everything comes crashing down, and we go downwards until we reach that bear market support level, the yellow line, for which we bottom out on. Now, that's basically what's happened. Now, once we bounce off the yellow line, which is where the bottom is, so once we bottom out on Bitcoin, we generally come back up and we test this red line, the previous bull market support line, for resistance, and it actually acts as resistance quite strongly. Over here, you can see very, very strong resistance here for a period of like 5 or 6 months. Once we finally got above that, we started edging upwards towards bull market territory. And, the same thing occurred over here in 2018. Yeah, it wasn't as strong a resistance as it was in 2015, but it was a resistance zone for sure. We kind of rejected off that level, at least on one monthly candle close, and also if we zoomed in a little bit further, you could see halfway through the second month, rejected on it briefly. Once we got above it, we saw a very, very strong green candle. In fact, that's one of the strongest green candles Bitcoin has seen for basically ever since that point. I don't think we've seen any green candles that strong, maybe 1 or 2, that's about it. But that's a very, very strong green candle. That's a green candle from top to from open to close 60% in a month. So that's a very strong candle, and that's symbolic of the fact that that red line was resistance, even though there isn't really much charting confirmation of rejections in that region. So the red line, the point I'm making is the red line acts as resistance. The bull market bounce zone acts as resistance when we come up and test it again. And it's done the same thing over here, right? So we've bounced off the yellow line and we've come up, we've rejected from the red line. It's acting as resistance. Everything is normal in that regard. And that's why everyone was getting really bearish. Everyone was saying, the monthly chart looks really bad because we've seen a bearish engulfing candle and we've seen an evening star formation. And yeah, it didn't look great, that's for sure. You can't say it looks good at resistance, at rejection. But to act like we've never seen a rejection from, this same level in previous cycles is ridiculous. We saw rejections in previous cycles. We saw a bearish engulfing candle right here, and we came up, we closed above it, right? So, we've seen resistance from this level before in this red horizontal line, so it's unsurprising that we saw it again briefly. And now Bitcoin actually, and this candle is closed, it's just glitched out in this chart or on the BLX. Bitcoin has actually come up and it's actually closed in, invalidating the bearish engulfing candle. It's closed above the red resistance line. Very bullish on the macro. Now, what I will tell you is this, guys. Let's extend this red line across. You might be saying, oh, Wolf, but, we can go back below and close below. Well, we can. Okay, we can. But now that we have 3 data points, we have 1 data point here, 2 data point, 3 data points. Now that we have 3 data points, this is now a mathematical trend, okay? And when we have mathematical trends, okay, we can rely on the trends. And there is no evidence, as per the mathematical trend, that Bitcoin has the capacity to drop back down below the red line after breaking above it. We have never dropped back down below the red line on monthly candle close after breaking above it. Yes, we saw a wick during COVID. We saw a wick during COVID, a very brief wick during COVID. That was a black swan event. That is something that we can ignore from a charting perspective. It is unlikely now that Bitcoin sees a monthly candle close back below 29.3K. 29.3K is where this red line is. So that is bullish. It's bullish not only because we've broken above the red line, all right, but it's bullish because once we break above the red line, it's very unlikely we go back down below it as per the macro trend, which has happened 3 times now. So look, that's great. That's great news. So Bitcoin is doing well on the monthly chart macro. Other macro charts we can look into briefly. We know it's doing well. Okay, weekly chart, we know it's doing well. What has it done on the weekly chart? Well, it's flipped ranges. Okay, so we had, let's delete everything and just take a look. We took a look at this yesterday. We'll take a look at it again. Where are the ranges for Bitcoin? Well, we've got the ultra, and I'm going to do it very quickly because I showed you this yesterday. We've got the ultra bearish range over here, okay, below 18K. That's kind of the bear market, you know, super bearish range. If we drop back into that, we'll go to new lows. We've got the range, which is kind of okay. Yeah, chop zone, it's okay, it's fine. And that is the range between around 25K and 18K. And that, again, it's like the middle range, the middle ground. We've got the range we're in right now, which stems up to, it's kind of hard to say where exactly it stems up to, but it's around, probably the peak is probably around 32K-ish, right? And that's kind of the range we're in right now, which is we're getting into macro bullish territory. Charts are flipping bullish macro, but we're not quite there yet. Like, we're just on the edge of getting really, really good. And then above that, anything above that to the all-time high is the bullish playground. And that is where we had the vast majority of the gains on altcoins and Bitcoin during the bull, not Bitcoin, but on altcoins during the bull market. So that's the bullish playground for the cryptocurrency market. So these are the ranges we're talking about. We've made some significant progress. We're in basically the second highest range. We're doing very, very well. So, you know, we discussed that yesterday. Now we can jump back into the weekly chart. What is actually happening here? Well, we can dive into it deeper. We've seen some very good things, right? We've seen bull market support band be taken. We've seen 200-week SMA be taken back. But most importantly, and I could bring up indicators all day, but most importantly, one of the most important things we've seen on the weekly chart is actually the Gaussian channel and its relation to the Gaussian channel. This, like the monthly chart that I brought up before, is another great trend we can use from a technical analysis perspective to display how bullish Bitcoin is from a macro perspective. Okay, what we have with the Gaussian channel is a trend in which, and it's a trend that has not failed, it's never failed, it's a very, very strong trend, it's never failed once in the entire price history of Bitcoin. When we enter the Gaussian channel from the upside, we move through it. When we enter it from a downside, when we enter it from down, we move through it, okay? Basically, the Gaussian channel is something we move through. When you enter it, you move through it in the direction you came from, and you move through it, and you see exponential gains to the downside or upside, depending on the direction you came from. So, again, come in from the upside, we'll move through to the downside, massive loss. Come in from the downside, you move through the upside, massive gain, all right? I'm just showing you here, I'm drawing on the screen. Look how fluidly we move through this. We've never seen any mistake ever, especially after losing the center line. We move through this thing like it's a slice of cake. We slice it like it's a slice of cake. Water. It's very, very nice. So look, we have moved into it now from a downside. And if the historical trend, which is, guys, it's comprised of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flawless data points since 2014. It's 7 for 7 now. It's got a 100% success rate. If that has anything to say for it, which it probably bloody does, right? We should be moving through this further and moving through it to see considerable gains to the upside. Now, where will those gains take us? It's hard to say, but probably at least that mid to high 30K region is where we're looking at, because that's where the next major resistance zone is. So macro is looking absolutely phenomenal, and I could bring up the 4-year cycle charts, but I'm not going to bore you with them because I know a lot of you guys have seen 4-year cycle charts over and over and over again for years now. 4-year cycle basically says that there's a macro trend that exists, there's many macro trends that exist, and they all point to the bottom being in, and they all point to the next top being in late 2025, and hence Bitcoin should be gradually, trending upwards until that point. Not necessarily, right? We could go sideways until after the halving, but the point is we've got a target and it's higher than where we are now, and it's definitely higher than where we were at 15K. So Bitcoin's bottomed out is what it's saying. We've also got things like Bitcoin power law, and I don't like looking at charts like this too much because they're destined to break when you have logarithmic lines that are linear. They're destined to break eventually, but Charts like this are good examples as well. This is a line that has not broken the red line specifically, and we generally reach up near that purple level during bull markets. Now, I don't think we'll reach that purple level during the next bull market because that would, require us to go to something like 500k. I don't think that's possible. But we could reach the green line, 150k. We have to wait and see. But the point is, there's so much macro bullishness. There's really no macro bearishness at all. I mean, I don't really know where that. Look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Okay, you could be macro bearish in any scenario ever if you use subjective indicators like Elliott wave theory. Okay, you could say, oh, there's Elliott wave and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess what? Guess what, guys? Elliott wave theory is subjective. Okay, it's not TA. It's not actual TA. It's subjective. It's just literally just draw whatever you want. Because I could say, that some person could say, this is a wave, and some person could say, no, actually, this was the wave here, this is the correction, this is the next wave, right? Whoever you speak to, they're going to have a different idea of what wave is what wave, and therefore you can't say, oh, it's going to be a 5-wave thing and there's going to be a correction. It's too subjective. Let's look at the actual trends. Let's look at the concrete data that we can actually prove, like the Gaussian channel on the weekly chart, like the fact that this red level has existed in previous bull markets and we've just got above it after a bearish engulfing candle close. Let's talk about those trends. Let's talk about the 4-year cycle trends, the date range trends that you can't make up. You can't be subjective about it. You can find bearishness wherever you look if you've got a bearish bias, okay? But I can tell you right now, me looking at this monthly chart, and actually specifically, let me bring it up quickly, me looking at this 4-year cycle chart, where I'm taking into account, and I'll bring it up right now, I'm taking into account multiple, micro trends based on dates, based on actual data points that I can't manipulate based on my bias. That's not biased. That can't be biased. That's not something I can fabricate. It's not something I can create artificially. I can fabricate information, and it might not be intentional, about Elliott wave theory that says we're going to 10k, and that's why I don't do it. That's why I don't do Elliott wave theory, because it's too subjective, and it's it's basically emotional analysis. I don't like it at all. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but you can disagree all you want. The fact of the matter is, the way I've analyzed charts have been working perfectly. I've caught every single major move pretty much since I entered the cryptocurrency space. Do you know why? Because I've trusted an objective trend, and the objective trend, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. The objective trend exists objectively, and hence following it, has been perfect because it's working perfectly. So 100% success rate. What's the Elliott wave theory success rate? Who knows? Because it's so bloody different each person you ask, So macro Bitcoin's looking absolutely great. Does this mean we can't see short-term corrections? Not at all. We definitely can. We definitely can correct down to 28.6k, 29k before going upwards again. That can happen. Short-term charts are still gray area at this point in time. I don't want to discuss them too much. It's literally a waste of time. I don't know what's going to happen on short-term at this point. It's literally, there's no patterns for me. I mean, I'll show you guys. The hourly chart is a joke right now. There's no pattern here. Let's show you. There's no actual identifiable pattern. What is this pattern? I don't know. Perhaps it's a horizontal channel bull flag. Perhaps we go up from there, but it's kind of hard to say because we've only seen 2 retests on either side. It's not exactly a valid formation, so we'll have to wait and see on the short term and just wait and see what happens. But guys, I'm going to end the video there. Before I end the video, I want to make sure you guys know, you are aware of the fact we are having a VIP sale right now. Look at this tab I've just brought up, VIP mid-year sale. The next 7 days, there will be a VIP sale up to 110 USD discount on VIP membership on Telegram. We trade altcoins on Telegram. We've been very, very profitable on Telegram with our altcoin trading. If you want to make money trading altcoins, this is your time to do it. The sale will only last 7 days, and we will not be having another sale for the entire year. So this is your time to get in there in the VIP group, guys. I know a lot of you trade. I know a lot of you like to make money in cryptocurrency, and this is the way you can do it, or at least a way you can get some advice from me or something like that, or not necessarily advice, but I'll show you what I'm looking at, and you can I'll show you my ideas, show you my potential targets, my entries, my stop losses, and then you can work off that and perhaps add a little twist of your own as well. VIP sale, 7 days, get into it, guys. Bitget exchange, guys. 5 times lower fees than Binance, non-KYC, 15% trading fee discount for signing up using my referral link, as well as access to an exclusive reward center. Sign up with my referral link in the pinned comment and description below, and you'll gain access to all those exclusive rewards and features. Get onto an exchange that's not suffering from FUD right now. I know Binance and Coinbase are. This is the exchange that everyone should be using in cryptocurrency market, in my honest opinion. Then we've got Crypto Academy. This is the final thing I'm going to be talking about. If you want to learn how to trade, you can do so on the Become a Trader 10-unit course on Crypto Academy. Read up on the website about the course and throw us an email. The email address is on the website as well, and you can get all the information from the email address. If you just throw us an email saying, hey, I'm interested in the course, we'll come back to you and we'll reply within 24 hours, I should say, and we'll give you all the information as well, answer any questions you have. So, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.